I'm just gonna say this here now. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I've been excited for it. Like, I know that the MCU has been a little bit, trash. Phase 1, an amazing introduction to the characters. And then Avengers came out and it was like the best thing ever. It's like best of four worlds. And then we got Phase 2, which wasn't great. Wasn't great, but at least we got the Guardians. Then we got Phase 3. My God, was Phase 3 an amazing, amazing era to be a Marvel fan. And then it closes out on Endgame. And then we get to Phase 4, which yeah, people weren't proud of. Like the only good movies were like Doctor Strange 2 and like No Way Home, and yeah, I guess that was it. And then, yeah, and then, Thor Love and Thunder came out, and everybody's like, yo, Taika Waititi could even save the Thor franchise, so how can we expect Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to be good? But I had heart. While others gave up, I had my hopes up. And then I saw this movie today, and my God, is it an amazing MCU movie? Like, this is probably like up there one of my top five favorite MCU movies of all time. With Infinity War being number one, because I still get the hype of when I first saw that movie every single time I watch Infinity War. The second one being Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because while I do think the first one is better in terms of, being a movie, I enjoy the second one more. I'm not watching like the second like I enjoy the second one more because it's more entertaining than the first one. The first one is still good, not it's still good. It's like my fourth favorite movie in the MCU. And then the third one is Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 3, with number five being Endgame. But yeah, this movie's amazing. Is what I'm trying to say. This movie probably has to be one of the best MCU movies that they've come out. Phase 5, last movie we got was Quantumania, which not a lot of people liked. But I thought Quantumania was okay. Like I thought Quantumania was okay. And one thing that I really like that I had to say with this movie is that they really, have depth to the character. Like the characters like get to be defined. Like Star Lord is trying to doesn't want to give up his relationship with Gamora, and then like learning to give up and do something new with your life instead of trying to live it out the old way. It's really nice, and I like the interactions that Drax has with everyone, and that he realizes that he wasn't born to be a destroyer. He was born to be a dad, and I thought that was cute. And they also like discover Mantis's new powers. Like everybody's like, oh, Mantis is so weak. She has those like feeling powers, or something, but then she controls like monsters with her powers. Nebula, I like Nebula in this movie. She was funny. She was charming in the movie as well. And then we got the big boy, Rocket. Ah man, where Star Lord is Star Lord is the cool one. He's the cool one. He's the ladies' man. At least he thinks he's the ladies' man. Nebula and Gamora they're like the power hungry but like sarcastic type. Drax is the comedic relief. Groot is like the force member that shouldn't even be here, but he's still here anyway. But he makes good donuts. But like Rocket was like he was like the emotional epicenter of the Guardians. Like in the first one, the one delivery that no one expected, a freaking talking raccoon in a superhero movie, was when he said that he didn't ask to get made, was really touching. And in the second one, we see that he's afraid of making friends because of his insecurity, and then in this movie we realize why he's afraid of making friends. And it was all, and the person to blame was the High Evolutionary, which I have to say, he's not one of those villains where it's like, oh yeah, my mom died and my dad died and my sister was killed because of giant robots that can also transform into cars. So I invented this society so that they could kill Transformers. They killed 9 of my sisters. He's not one of those characters. He's not like one of those villains where like they have boo-hoo sad emotional story. He's just a hateable villain. And the movie does a good job of it too. This movie makes you want to hate the High Evolutionary, and I'm kind of glad that we got that. Like we got those type of villains. Even Star Lord, a character in a movie is like, oh my goodness, stop with the monologues. And yeah, another thing that I really like about this movie is that it's not one of those PG-13 movies that's trying to act like a PG movie. I'm tired of seeing I'm like really like tired of the rating system. Like Jaws, Gremlins, and Beetlejuice are PG, but like Frozen is also PG. Like parental guidance for a movie about Let It Go, talking snowman thing. But this movie, yeah, it deserves its PG-13 rating. There's so much gore, there's so much torture, there's so much violence. There's like the first ever use of the F word in a Marvel movie. Yes, I'm not joking. First time Marvel ever said an F word. They've been playing it safe for all these years. And also one thing that I do like about the movie is the soundtrack. The choices of the song, they're amazing. And I never thought I was going to hear In the Meantime by Spacehog like 5 years after I first heard it. And another thing that I like about this movie is hilarious. Well, it's also trying to be emotional. It's also hilarious. You know, they do give you some breathers, you know, for you to laugh, and then you run out of breath because of how much you're laughing. I mean, my theater was laughing like no one could like every single time they made a joke that was actually funny. Everybody was roaring with laughter. And yeah, so that's what I like about the movie. You know, the soundtrack, the characters, and the drama, everything's great. But what do I do not like? What I do not like about the movie is Adam Warlock. I'm sorry. Second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they teased him. I did not know who Adam Warlock was, but based on my cousin who does have, knowledge in the Marvel Encyclopedia, I was excited to see what this brute character had to bring in. But then he does nothing in the movie. Like, sure, he's a big threat, and like, sure, he's like a big menace, but like, he's underutilized. I'm not gonna say like what a certain YouTuber said that starts with a P, ends with a 0, said that he's dumb. Of course he's dumb. He was literally born yesterday, but I'm not gonna blame him for that. He doesn't have any knowledge of Marvel Encyclopedia. But the movie like underutilizes him. Like, this is a big character that's been teased in the second movie, and he's barely in the third one. Like, there was I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, but like there's a scene where he's like all torn up. You know, he's all torn up. Like, I'm not saying torn up like he has like you can see his insides. I'm saying like he looks messed up. Like his shirt is all ripped up and he's like ready to fight, and then he just falls down. Like, I really thought he was gonna do something here. Like, no, he really doesn't like add nothing to the film at all. Like, he sounds like something like the film thought of like a side thought. And one thing that I also don't like about the movie is that some of the editing can be weird. Like 1 minute you're laughing at like Drax saying he crapped out a fish or something, and then suddenly you're in a Rocket backstory, and you're like you know what I'm talking about, right? And also, like I said, I love the soundtrack in this movie, but some of the songs feel kind of underutilized. Like In the Meantime by Spacehog playing while they're floating in outer space. Like, what does that contradict to that? The film is about meeting, like, is about like friends meeting other friends, after so long. What does that have to contribute to people floating in space? Or what about Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow, while they're flying in a spaceship? What does that have to add to anything, That song is about a breakup. But no, it's about people floating in a spaceship or something. I don't know. But there's one thing I have to tell you. The Guardians movies are not, made for like perfection. They're not made for like film snuffs with type of people. They're made for people who enjoy comic book movies. They're made for people who enjoy, seeing certain characters who are not great people suddenly become, a family. And I think James Gunn does have like a talent for writing, douchey characters, and then they suddenly become into a family. And this, I have to say, has to be one of the best endings to any film franchise of all time. Some of you might argue that Endgame might be it, but so many films came out after that. So many films came out after Endgame, and you're like, wait, I thought the MCU was already ending after Endgame at this point, but no. But like the Guardians, it felt like it was an actual good close, like a good close to the chapter of the Guardians. And this will be the last time we will see them ever as a group, according to James Gunn. So after that, it feels like memories of your childhood, and now you're an adult. You have to move on. It's a thing in the past. We have to move on, all of us. And this is what I feel with the closing of the Guardians. Now I don't have to expect anything anymore. Sure, I might be excited for future projects like Secret Wars and King Dynasty, but at one point in my life, I have to let go of Marvel. And although it's a sad fact, it has to come true. So yeah, movie has has an amazing tonal balance of humor and drama. The drama absolutely hits. I cried 2 times in the movie. It'll hit you emotionally. I don't know where to put it on a 9 or a 10, like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But for this case, I'm gonna say it a 9.5 out of 10. Really amazing movie. Highly recommend that you watch it. It is the best Chris Pratt movie to ever have No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's all I have to say. And this is probably my favorite film of 2023 because this and the Mario movie are like the only movies I've seen in like 2023. So yeah, that's my review of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What did you think of the film if you've ever seen it? Yeah, I'm gonna, see you next time or something. I don't know.